Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is still doing well this evening. Tonight I got a little middle of the night snack for you. See, a lot of you have heard my Dogman experience. I just recently had something really strange happen up where Tom Mezek disappeared in HorrorCon, New York. But I've also had a lot of paranormal activity happen in my life. The kind of weird, strange, crypto, whatever, has been a part of my life since, I guess, birth. My father was very big into paranormal. My grandfather was also. And talking to my dad recently, I'm finding more out about my grandfather and things that he had partaken in back in World War II, which he was sworn to secrecy and never actually told anyone anything that he did back then. His own mother, my great-grandmother, actually didn't know if my grandfather was alive or not until he returned home from World War II. He was sworn to secrecy, and all I know is he was over in Africa somewhere, which I just find it really interesting. I've looked up some kind of strange and secretive missions over there. Found a couple, but they don't really line up to where he was. So I'm going to keep looking on that. Probably I'll never find anything about it, but anyway. So the paranormal has just been a huge part of my life. And I figure, hey, let's talk about that right now and share with you some really horrifying paranormal video clips that cannot be explained. But before we get into all that, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. The merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman, Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons. Narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost you a cent. Click that like button. It takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads I put out daily, click that bell icon and please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all these things, they help this channel to continue to grow and go. And folks, they matter. Now, everyone, I've taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with tonight's midnight or middle of the night bonus upload. All right, guys, we're going to check out some more video clips, and I'm going to share a little bit about my paranormal experiences as well. Let's get into it. So my first paranormal experience I had was when I was about 5 or 6. I remember it was a fall day because we went apple picking right after this event. Now, our house kind of had a walk around hallway, so you could just, like, the middle of the house was the basement stairwell or the attic stairwell, and you could go all the way around the house. Not really a circle, but kind of square hallway setup. And the attic door was right across from the hall from the bathroom. And my room was next to the bathroom. The attic had kind of like one of those keyholes, those skeleton keyholes, and one of those kind of latch locks that my dad had put at the top. And there was no way of opening it from the inside. So you could look through this keyhole and see the light, because at the top of the stairs was a window. Or, well, at the top of the stairs was a floor, then you walk over the floor and then there's a window. I looked through the keyhole and there was kind of like a gray shape. I remember standing in front of the keyhole or blocking the light. And I knocked, and something knocked back, which scared the living bejesuses out of me. So we went apple picking, and then my dad was working shift work at the time at a paper mill. And the next day, my mom and I had gone to, I don't know, get a toy, or we went to the toy store probably, and we went to get like subs or something for dinner because it was just me and my mom. My dad was probably working 3 to 11 at that point because he wasn't there. And we get home and the attic door is wide open, but the house was locked. Really strange. So my mom calls my uncle, who was the sergeant of our local police department. He comes over, goes through the house, nothing, looks for footprints. My dad was actually building an attachment or an addition to the house at the time. And so there's sand all over the back part where we would come in and out of the house. And there was no abnormal shoe prints that my uncle could see. And after that, there was no conclusion to what happened. Just so my whole thing is, what knocked? How did it get out of the attic? And how did it get out of the house without locking the door behind it, or with locking the door behind it, because you needed a key to do that. So that was my first paranormal experience, and probably the reason why I love everything abnormal and terrifying now. So let's get into the first video. The first video is what appears to be some sort of demon or ghost or what, looking out from the corner of a doorway. You guys decide. I think it's actually real, and it's quite terrifying.
In the corner of the room, which is actually my daughter's room. So I screenshotted it and I just zoomed in on it. My heart just dropped. I could feel my face, all the blood in my face ran. I mean, it scared me. In the corner of the room, which is actually my daughter's room. So I screenshotted it and I just zoomed in on it. My heart just dropped. I could feel my face, all the blood in my face ran. I mean, it scared me. In the corner of the room, which is actually my daughter's room. So I screenshotted it and I just zoomed in on it. My heart just dropped. I could feel my face, all the blood in my face ran. I mean, it scared me.
My next experience that I had was some years later, down at my cousin's farm, which I've taken a video and went down there before with my camera. We were playing with a Ouija board. This was before the internet. This is before Zozo was even mentioned. There was a hayloft above the main part of the barn, cow stanchions, pig kind of little stalls where mother pigs would have their babies. So we were playing Ouija board for the entire summer. And it was fall. It was getting to fall time, so September, school had started. And it was a weekend. I remember we were playing with the Ouija, and my cousin, got really into it. He was my older cousin. His dad owned the farm. And for some reason, a couple of the litter of the pigs died when they were born, or the mothers killed them, which now I associate with what we were doing. My cousin had put the pig blood on the board, and we played, and it kept saying OZ, 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 which Z-O-Z-O-Z-O. We thought it was telling us its name was Oz. It said we were going to die. It said we were going to see hounds of hell. And I'm giving you a brief kind of experience. The main videos on the channel. There was what appeared to be kind of like a demon face that formed in the plastic at the end of the hall there. My cousin boosted me up to get a couple bales of hay, and when I got up there, there was no light because it's a hayloft. It's an older farm. And I'm throwing a couple of bales down, and there's a door up there that leads out to another pig stanchion, or pig yard. I look behind me because I hear some sort of noise, and there's this kind of silhouette of a man running toward me, and I just jumped down the hole and landed on the concrete floor. And what appeared to be a hand came reaching out from that top of the hayloft. My cousins, both cousins, myself, and our friend saw it. Later on that night, my cousin dreamt of a hellhound. His friend did as well. Our friend, mutual friend. It was two my cousins, myself, and a friend. We all... he had a really large basement kind of room, and so we all slept at his house that night. And he had a bed and two couches, it was a huge room. It was really cool. Pool table. So my cousin had a nightmare of a hound of hell. So did our friend Nick. And it said we were all going to die. Since that's happened, I was diagnosed with a terminal illness that is manageable by medication. Luckily, they caught it in time. One of my cousins died of cancer, very young. I mean, young, late 20s. And he was healthy, just it came quick. And then my other cousin was crushed by a tractor trailer. And the other person is just spiritually and mentally, emotionally and physically dead. Not physically dead, but, he's just a drug addict that is at his very, very bottom and won't wake up. Hopefully one day he will, but he is spiritually dead. So that is the kind of second paranormal experience I ever had. Like I said, I did a video down there with my camera, went through it, and shared the whole kind of experience in depth. But there's a bonus upload, so they're usually shorter than normal, so I'm not going to really, but there is no more to really share. We really messed up. We thought name was Oz, but really it was spelling Z-O-Z-O-Z-O. We read it backwards. Alright, so moving on to the next video. This next video is what appears to be a group of soldiers getting torn apart by a creature. I don't know, like I said, you guys decide for yourselves. The next event was the summer of '94, my Dogman encounter. There was 5 of us, including myself. We were on a small cul-de-sac. My friend Gabe was driving, Martin, myself, and Martin and I's girlfriends. We weren't drinking, we weren't smoking weed and doing anything. We were just hanging out. And this cul-de-sac had skeletal houses that were being built. Like I said, this is a bonus, so I've shared this before. We hear this kind of shriek, scream, whatever, and see multiple eyes at multiple levels, or different levels, and the girls are like vampire, because vampire movies were big back then. We're standing in the wood, or by the wood line, looking. I'm by the car, and these eyes are just all around us. I notice that there's eyes down the wood line past us, behind us actually. Looks like they were trying to cross the road, keep us distracted with what was in front of us. Kind of like an ambush. I was the only one out of the car on the passenger side by the front light, staring, confused. I wasn't brave, believe that. I finally get in the car and we drive out, and as we are turning onto Route 9 to head back into town, we see this creature that was at least 7.5 feet tall. Very strong looking, but not your typical underworld Dogman looking thing. It wasn't very skinny, but it was skinny. It wasn't, jacked like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but you could tell that it had very, very much strength. It was incredibly scary looking. Shorter muzzle. I really didn't notice a tail, and it looked odd. It looked like it shouldn't be walking the way it did. It looked like it didn't belong here on Earth. The strangest thing is how it got through the woods so quickly to meet us at that corner, because the woods beyond that tree line is just dense. Briars and underbrush, and just, you'd really have to rip yourself apart to run so fast to get to the wood line by the road. We ended up leaving, coming back the next day, my friend and Martin and I, and we were looking for prints or tracks or whatever in the sand. And I believe it was the foreman came over to us and said, "What are you guys doing?" Probably concerned that we were scoping things out or whatever to steal tools or whatever. And we said we were looking for my friend's dog, and he said, "Oh man, last night when we were buttoning up everything, we heard kind of like a dog fight in the woods. There's a lot of commotion." They didn't think much of it, and wow. So I had no internet, and I went to old bookstores looking for any kind of cryptids books that I could find. I still have the first book I ever found that had like a werewolf encounter in it. But yeah, that's my experience. That really got me into cryptids. Let's check out this next video. It appears to be dad going to check on his daughter, and it looks like his daughter's sleeping in bed, but this family only has one child, and it appears to be a child standing on this guy's daughter's bed, and it's not there when he removes the blanket. It's very chilling. Check it out. My last event was in Maine, probably 2 years after my Dogman encounter. I was on Mount Desert Island. My family owns a house up there. I was walking from the back side of the island to almost Bar Harbor. We're going to meet some friends and watch Rocky Horror Picture Show. I was 19. I'm walking and Soam Sound, I'm walking by Soam Sound, which is the largest and deepest sound on the Atlantic side. Also, it has a very haunting history. You can look it up, Soam Sound Witch. As I'm walking down the road, I see this bright light coming at me like a car. Now, the side of the road is not very side of the road-ish. It's blueberry bushes and wild blueberry bushes and regular just East Coast island bushes that grow, you know, nothing extravagant looking, but there is really not a big walk space. And so I'm like, great, I gotta get out of the way for this car. All of a sudden I just see this light and it keeps getting closer and closer and closer. I don't remember the light passing me, and I don't remember the rest of the walk. I just remember showing up at my friend's house to watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And a 20-minute walk took me about an hour. I have no idea what that was, if it was paranormal, like kind of ghost or whatever, or if it was, I hate saying UFO, but UFO. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't recall anything happening. I don't remember. I remember the light getting very, very close to me, like it was going to pass me, like a car. But then the next thing is I'm at the house. It's very strange. It really boggles me. I have no idea. And it really does mess with my head sometimes because I can't figure out what happened. So this next video that we're going to check out is a grandmother in England was watching her grandkids or whatever, and on the baby monitor picked this creature up between the two cribs.
Tori checks the camera's app and sees this photo. It's a figure standing by the beds of both her granddaughter and 7-month-old grandson. Tori checks the camera's app and sees this photo. It's a figure standing by the beds of both her granddaughter and 7-month-old grandson. Tori checks the camera's app and sees this photo. It's a figure standing by the beds of both her granddaughter and 7-month-old grandson.
And the last video is something caught on a ring cam. I really don't know what to think of it. It's kind of weird, the noises. I wish the music wasn't in the background. I couldn't find one without the kind of eerie music, but you can hear something kind of making a noise in the background, and it's pretty eerie. But once again, you guys decide, not me.
Who the fuck is it? What the fuck?
All right, guys, I hope you all enjoyed tonight's middle of the night kind of bonus upload, my paranormal experiences. I've had, like I said, my own Dogman encounter. I've had paranormal experiences all my life. That's probably the biggest reason why I started the channel, I'm not saying that makes me any better than any other kind of YouTuber out there that talks about this stuff, because I'm assuming the majority of them have had experiences and that's why they do it. I'm just addicted to the research, and now with the platform that I have, meeting so many new people and getting to share their experiences, my experiences, it's just been something really amazing. So with that, guys, thank you for everything. This has been truly a blessing. I hope that you all stay safe, happy, and healthy. Please keep an eye on your loved ones. These creatures are real. These paranormal activity things are real. Please stay safe and God bless.